When I learned my parents gave the family business to my sister, I stopped working 80-hour weeks for free. Dad said, Paula is better with people. Mom added, you can still help from behind the scenes. A week later, Dad called panicking about losing our biggest client. I just said, let Paula handle it. She's the heir, right? I'd spent 12 years building Matthews Construction. Started as a summer laborer at 20, learned estimating in college, became operations manager after getting my degree. Paula? She'd worked there 10 months. 10 months versus my 12 years of sacrificed holidays and canceled vacations. But she was the golden child, the favorite, the one who could do no wrong. I sat in Dad's office when he signed the papers, watching him hand my future to someone who barely knew a blueprint. Your role is secure, he assured me. Paula just has better vision for client relations, behind the scenes. That's where they wanted me, where I'd always been. That night, I made a decision. No more midnight emergencies, no more weekend crisis calls, no more sacrificing my life for a company that would never be mine. I started working exactly 8 to 5, took lunch breaks, went home on time, stopped checking emails after hours. Then came the Westridge healthcare bid. Paula was handling it, but Dad expected me to review the numbers like always. I didn't. She submitted it with a 40% materials error. We lost to our competitor. Dad called me in, face red. That was a rookie mistake you would have caught immediately. I believe Paula was handling that bid, I said. If someone had scheduled me to review it during work hours, I would have. Since when do you work 9 to 5? He demanded. Since you made it clear my 12 years meant nothing in terms of succession. 3 weeks later, the Harrington Group, our biggest client, threatened to pull their contracts. Paula had promised them a 4-month shorter timeline, trying to impress them. Thomas Harrington called Dad directly. Either you honor what Paula promised, or we're done. Dad begged me to fix it. For God's sake, Mark, the company is at stake. The company that will never be mine, I reminded him. So let Paula handle it. She's the heir, right? Within a month, 3 contracts fell through. Subcontractors wanted upfront pay. Project managers quit. Mom showed up at my apartment looking older than ever. Your father wants to talk. Really talk. The family dinner was tense. Paula had dark circles under her eyes. Dad looked defeated. We're offering you equal partnership, he said. Co-CEO with Paula. 50-50 ownership when I retire. 6 weeks ago, that would have been everything I wanted. Now it just felt hollow. Why the change of heart? I asked. I was wrong, Dad admitted. I underestimated you. You needed to see my value before the crisis, I said quietly. Not because you're desperate. I pulled out an envelope and placed it on the table. My resignation, effective 2 weeks from today. I've accepted a position with Harrington Development as their chief operations officer. The silence was deafening. Paula's face crumpled. You're abandoning us? Your own family? No, Paula. The family abandoned me when you decided I was only good enough for the background. Dad stood up, anger replacing shock. If you walk out now, don't expect to come back. I'm not your enemy, I replied. I'm just not your safety net anymore. Thomas Harrington had made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Executive authority, ownership stake, recognition from day one. The next 2 weeks were brutal. Dad barely spoke. Paula alternated between tears and cold silence. But I documented everything, trained my replacement, and walked out with my head high. 6 months later, I was thriving. Increased Harrington's profits by 20%, earned board approval for expansion. Then Nancy, my old receptionist, called. Your father had a heart attack last night. He's stable, but the company's in trouble. 43 families depend on Matthews Construction. I sat in my car, watching the sunset. 6 months ago, that would have felt like victory. Now it just made me sad. I called Paula. I'm coming to the hospital. We should talk. About what? She whispered. About options. For Dad. For the company. You'd help us? After everything? I thought about it. About Dad in a hospital bed. Paula drowning in responsibility. The 43 families counting on paychecks. I'm not making promises, I said. But yes, we'll talk. Not because I owed them anything. Not because I'd forgiven them, but because I'd proven my worth. Built my own success. And now, from a position of strength, I could choose my path forward on my own terms. Whatever happened next would be my choice. Not desperation, not obligation. Just the quiet confidence of someone who finally knew exactly what they were worth.